Hey, we're into one of those fun projects on the farm. Got the farm hands some 300-foot CTS 3/4 inch water line and a fitting for each end, and then a little fitting in the middle there that we can put on to help blow it out come fall, because we're going to put a water line in, and we're actually going to start at one of our hydrants, and we're going to put it all the way into our south pasture field, which tends to get a little swampy, so there's no reason trying to even get it down 7 feet where we can get below the frost. In Minnesota, if I got to get down below 6 feet, I need dry land way down there, and that's probably not going to happen. So up here, we're starting in the dry. We're going to dig maybe 18 to 24 inches in. James is on the excavator right now. The 26G is running wonderful. It's been a great tool for us. It's still working well. He's going to work himself down this fence line and trench it out between 18 and about 24 inches deep. And then we're going to drop the water line in and hook it up to a tank and a float down in the bottom. And obviously we'll be able to take the tank and the float off for winter, and then come up to the top at the hydrant, disconnect it, and blow it out. That is the game plan. Now, I had thought about putting in a formal water line down to this field, but the headache is it's never dry. I mean, it literally is never dry. And unfortunately, since we're dropping about 5 feet in height between here and there, and it's never dry, going down another 5 feet down there would literally put us in the abyss. So unless I was horizontally directional boring this, there really is no good way to do it with that kind of water. So right here is where I want it to hook up, and we'll make this connection by hand. The farm hands will dig that out. This ground is a miserable clay to dig in. It's hard, it's gumbo-y, but you know, the farm hands will get on it and get it done. It's a lot of work. It's about 88 degrees out here and about 70% dew point, so they're going to be sweating it out, but the line is going in. As you can see, it's in the trench, and we've made it past all the obstacles of the goat field here, which is good, and we're getting down to the bottom where we got to put it into the horse pasture. We did have to cross one of our farm roads, so we took our time to make sure we got through that properly. We snuck it under 2 different fence wires as we leave this paddock and get into the horse one. Didn't damage any wires. The farm hands are thinking it through and getting it through without doing any wrecking of any work. And then these fittings, which I bought at Menards for this CTS pipe, they're kind of neat. You just kind of unscrew the back to get rid of the crimp piece to let up, and then you basically like thread them on the pipe, and that's just kind of to make them bite and hold on. And then there's a rubber O-ring in there that once you put it in and tighten it together, it gets crushed around the pipe in with the brass. So it's really kind of nice. It forms a real solid fit. I don't feel like it's going to come off, but this isn't a high pressure setup either. They're probably at this point, we're 200 yards from the house's main pump, and we're probably looking at a max pressure out here of maybe 40 psi. So this isn't a high pressure system like in a house that goes up to 60 or 80 psi, but it certainly does do the job as far as filling up water tanks and working with floats. And in the summer, it's nice to have the ability to not have to bucket the water all the way out to the horses, which we've done numerous times. Their other paddocks have automatic waters in them that are electrically free, so they work by the water pressure, and then they drain themselves, and they go all winter on those. But this south pasture we occasionally need to use when the hay or the pastures get a little thin, and it'd be nice to have water out there for the draft horses. You figure a draft horse probably goes through a good 15-20 gallons a day of water, so. And at this point here, we're getting it all hooked up. Caitlin's throwing me some dirt, and we'll just get this pipe to kind of hold itself. I left it stick out of the ground just a little bit on the other end so that I can pretty much put this little end on it that I made there and hook the air compressor up and blow it out. This is down at the tank end. The boys have got the digging done down here, and there's our tank. And you can see it, 24 inches deep, it's already filled with water in the middle of summer here. But that's typical. We've dropped about 5 feet of distance as we come down. We're in Minnesota, land of 10,000 taxes and 10,000 lakes, so, we're pretty close to the water line. I think the farm at its highest point is 900 feet above the water table, which would be the ocean water table. So we're not real high here in Minnesota, which is why we have a lot of water. But the boys are getting it done. They're getting it in. They're pretty tired at this point, but we're getting her done. Now on this end, I'm just putting a straight on it, and then I'm gonna, short hose it up to the tank, and then I'll be able to, I got a disconnect on it, so I can just disconnect it. It'll be a straight out, and then it'll easily blow out for the winter, and then I can just leave it. I don't have to do anything with it, which is great. The issue that I may have with this would be, is if the horses squish it into the ground, or if a rodent tries to chew the pipe. For the cost of the setup, I'm willing to take the risk. I really don't want to put this in PVC, and I don't want to make this a project of headache trying to get it 7 feet down. But worst comes to worst, get somebody out with a directional bore. I think this kind of do-it-yourself system with a water line this way will work really well. Got it hooked up, got it running. The float's already putting out water. No leaks on this end, no leaks on the other end. It's doing really well. This is exactly what I wanted it to do. We'll get this tank filled up, and then the boys back pushed with the 26G, and then they did all the rest by hand. 2 hours of hand shoveling this in to pack it down nice, but they really did a nice job. They got this clay in the ground, the spigots in here under the fence side, so it's safe. The bottom side's all been covered up. The road's covered up. They did a nice job. I am planning on some sinkage, so I may have to fill it a little bit, but there it is. Tank's full. We're ready for horses. Do-it-yourself water line that we can blow out in the spring. Thanks for watching, folks.